If you have ever been insecure about charging more for your coaching or consulting, if you've ever been insecure about whether to charge at all, if you've ever wondered how much should I charge, this is the video on YouTube that you need to watch. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to know what to charge for your coaching or consulting. It's a question that so many coaches and consultants have. How do I charge more? How much do I charge? And you're charging X, and then you find out that somebody down the road is charging 10 times what you are charging, and you're wondering, how are they getting that? How is that actually happening? All right, here's the major epiphany that I want you to take with you all the way through this video. Stop charging for your time and start charging for money. That is the money that you're going to make your client. You sell money. You don't sell time. You don't sell coaching. You don't sell consulting. You sell money. In other words, if you pay me $25,000, you're going to make at least $250,000. If you pay me $50,000, you're going to make at least $500,000. Is $50,000 a good investment? If I had a store and you handed me $50,000 and I handed you $500,000, you think there'd be a line out the door? There'd be a line out the door, and people would be more than willing to pay it. You think you're charging for the amount of time that you spent or the fact that you've got to drive over there and meet with that person. That stuff's cheap, man. If you're just charging for time, that's cheap. You're charging me for the knowledge that you have on how I can make more money, and that makes you valuable. All right, let's get into it. How do you know what to charge for your coaching or consulting? Well, I'll tell you this, you're charging too little. Almost everybody who's watching this video is charging too little. Here's the problem. You can't actually charge more because the people that you're charging don't understand the value that you offer. That's actually the real problem. The problem isn't that I can't charge more for my coaching or my consulting. The problem is the people that you're charging don't understand why they should pay that much. And so you getting confident as a coach to charge a lot of money actually comes from knowledge of how much money you're making somebody in return. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to be more confident in charging more for your coaching and consulting. I'm going to talk about how to actually create even more value or perceived value. So when you present your product, your coaching product or your coaching retainer this way, people actually understand, oh, I can't believe that kind of value. That sounds like a good deal. And if you keep watching to the end, I've created something that is really going to help you charge more for your coaching. So pay attention till the end of the video. All right, here's the problem that you're experiencing if you're not charging enough for your coaching. You're coming off as insecure. If I say, well, you know, I can give it to you for this much, and almost an apologetic tone, what that communicates to the person that I'm talking to is I don't believe in myself, and I don't believe in the product that I have. I don't believe that I can actually get you much value, but I have a mortgage to pay. So if you could give me some charity and some generosity and pay me a little bit, that would be awesome. You never, ever, ever want to position yourself that way as a coach or a consultant. Here's the thing. You have a ton of institutional knowledge. You have been in rooms where things have been discussed. You've had to let somebody go or fire somebody. You've had to on-ramp people or hire somebody. You've had to cut costs by X amount. Not everybody has that kind of knowledge or experience. And so you may be thinking, well, I'm only charging for an hour. How could I charge like $1,500 for an hour of my time? It's just an hour. It's not an hour. It's not 60 minutes. It's decades of experience that you're bringing to that hour. And so when you actually say, well, you know, it's just an hour of my time, what you're discounting is the fact that you've got all of this institutional knowledge that you're bringing into that hour. Don't think about the minutes that you're charging for. Think about the decades of experience that you're charging for. That's one thing that you're going to have to get used to is you're charging for your institutional knowledge. You have got to know what you are actually worth. All right, so how do you know what you are worth? Well, we're talking about money here. And so if we're saying, hey, I'm worth, you know, $25,000 for 2 days of a strategy session in which I take you through a process that's going to help you solve a problem. $25,000, $12,500 a day. Let's say that's 8 hours. That is more than $1,000 an hour. Sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But listen, if that time is going to be spent analyzing somebody's sales pipeline, that is when a customer first encounters you, I want you to plug in this specific email, and I want the owner of the company to create a video, and it's going to go to it's going to be emailed to anybody who triggers this sort of this sort of trip test, where they go through this, and they go to your email, they go to your website, they download this lead generator, and we're gonna call the lead generator this instead of this. Then we're gonna send a video from the owner of the company, and then the owner of the company is gonna sit next down to the SDR, and they're gonna sit there and they're gonna say, hey, this is our SDR. He's the one who's gonna talk to you. We know that that's gonna elevate sales and the number of people who actually come into that on intake call. That's gonna increase that by 30%. Then we're going to actually introduce them to the product here, and that's going to do this. And then we're going to actually introduce them to a bonus that they get that expires if they don't sign up now. We're going to do that here. Not everybody knows how to do that. Not everybody knows how to take a customer pipeline and fill in all the gaps. All they know how to do is talk about their product and take the money. So if I'm charging $25,000 to analyze your sales pipeline, find the gaps where people are dropping off, and create marketing and sales collateral that bridge those gaps, and you're a $10 million company, I would expect that could have a 20% increase in overall revenue. That's $2 million. All right, so I'm not charging $25,000, more than $1,000 an hour for my time. That's not what I'm charging for. I'm charging $25,000 so that you can get $2 million. You don't sell your time, you don't sell knowledge, you don't sell any of that. You don't even sell coaching. What you sell is money. For $25,000, you get $2 million. And if you think about that, you're going to be willing to charge more for your coaching, right? Because it is an economic investment that they're making in order to get an economic return. The question is, as a coach, how can you get them an economic return? And you need to think that way. Stop thinking of yourself as selling a friendship. Yes, you're a good person, you're going to be friends with your clients, but you're not selling friendship. You're actually selling money. So you need to figure out, how much money am I going to be making this customer? I like pricing my product at 10% or less of the return that they can get. So if I am $50,000 a day, I want them to be able to make at least $500,000 off of our time together. By the way, if I charge you $50,000 for a day of my time and you don't make $500,000 off of what we talked about, I actually offer a money-back guarantee on my coaching. I just say, look, I'll literally write you the check for the $50,000. I've never written that check, and the reason is I don't work with anybody who can't make at least $500,000. The last client that I went to, we figured out how to clarify their message and put it on their packaging a little bit differently. They're selling $100 million of that product. I would anticipate, realistically, they'll go from $100 million to $200 million off of that product. I charged them $50,000. They'll make $100 million more than they made before I got there. Those are the clients that you're actually looking for. You're looking for clients that you can get a giant return, and so everybody just says, look, this is a no-brainer, right? That's a really, really good investment. So think of yourself as selling money, not as selling coaching, and you'll be better off. You need to know what that money is, by the way. You need to know, here's how much they're making now. When I do this for them, they should be making this much more. That's going to help you charge more for your product, your coaching products as well. All right, let's actually define what a coaching product is. Because many of you say you sell coaching or you sell consulting. Stop thinking that way. I want you to think of yourself as selling coaching or consulting products. And what is a product? Okay, a product is, there's several characteristics to it. One, a fixed process. That is, here's how I like to do it. Put together a keynote presentation that goes along with a workbook, right? That takes them through a process that helps them clarify something that makes them money. If it's their guiding principles, if it's their sales process, if it's how to lead meetings, if it's leadership, whatever it is. So I'm going to take you through the 8 steps that are in this keynote presentation. We're going to stop and break into small groups if it's a workshop, so you can work together to fill out this specific workbook, and at the end of the day, or at the end of 2 days, you've gone through an entire process. Instead of sitting down and saying, well, why'd you guys call me? What brings me here today? That is one type of consulting, and by the way, I'll do that too, but I like products because it's easier to sell. And by the way, if you sell the product, I'm going to take you through this process, you're going to fill out this workbook, and the meeting gets hijacked by something that needs to happen in order for you to deliver more value, that's fine. But if it is a fixed process, it's going to be a lot easier to sell. So think keynote presentation workbook. You say, Don, what if it's one-on-one? I'm not going to give a keynote presentation. Why not? You know, if you got a TV in your conference room or open up your laptop, click through it. Let the keynote presentation guide your conversation with the client. A fixed time frame. So fixed process, fixed time frame. My coaching to take you through this process is 1 day or 2 full days, or package it any way you want. 1 day with follow-up Zoom calls every week for 6 weeks, or 1 day with follow-up Zoom calls every week for 6 weeks, followed by another full day at the end of it. Whatever you need to do to get the process done with that client, package it in that way. The reason that this is so important in order to charge more for your coaching is people don't buy a black box investment. A black box investment is if there was a black box on this table and somebody said, Don, $1,000 you can have whatever's in this black box. I'm taking a risk at that point. Is there $1,001 in there, or is there just some fruity pebbles in there? I don't know. It's a black box investment. People do not make black box investments. And when you say, well, I can help you solve that problem, my rate is $1,500 a month, and I'd meet with you, every 2 weeks, we would meet for an hour. I don't know when that engagement is going to end. I don't know what we're going to talk about in that engagement. I don't know what the deliverables are going to be. I don't know what my return is going to be. It is a black box investment. You are asking me to take a chance on you. But if I say, hey, we're going to overhaul your entire leadership and management strategy. We're going to install 5 meetings into your company, and it's going to work like a machine. It's finally going to be organized, morale is going to go up, and productivity is going to go up. If you made $10 million last year, I would anticipate that because you're going to have so much increased productivity, you would at least have a 20% increase on that if all the factors are there that would necessitate for that to happen. So the way we're going to do that is I'm going to meet with you and your leadership team for 1 full day. I'm going to explain how the 5 meetings that we're going to install into your organization work, and we're going to start role-playing that stuff. Going to get a lot done in 8 hours. Then I'm going to meet with all of your middle management on Monday morning at 10 a.m. for 1 hour, and we're going to do that for 6 weeks, right? Then I'm going to help you write a job description for an operator who can take my place and run that whole system. And I'm going to help you hire that job, that position in your company and replace me so that I leave. I would say that is between $25,000 and $50,000 coaching product. And it could be called the team overhaul or the team productivity product. It could be called the management and operations overhaul. You want to give it a name. That's the third thing that you actually want to do. Give it a name. Call it something. Because we tend to buy things that are called something, right? If I go into a restaurant and I say, what's your special today? And the waitress says protein with some simple carbs, she's being way too vague. But if she says a cheeseburger with fries, I know what that is. And so you want to call it something, and call it something that really speaks to the value that you are actually getting. Also, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, what is the economic return? You need to be able to, in order to ask for $25,000, say you should get a 10x return on the time that we've spent together. If you pay me $25,000, I would anticipate you'd make $250,000. By the way, be faithful. Offer a guarantee. If you're a coach, offer a guarantee. And if you ever have to pay them back, that's going to light a fire under you to never do that again. And you're going to go get them that value that they need. And even if they say, hey, we didn't really get the value that we thought, hey, I can either write you a check or I can come back in and spend another day with you and we can hammer this out. 99% of the time, they're going to ask for another day with you. So you're not going to have to write that check. You're going to want to know what the economic return is on that product. And then you need a price. And the price is based on a conservative 10x return on whatever you're charging. It's $25,000, make sure they can get $250,000. If it's $50,000, make sure they can get $500,000. That's how I base my pricing. And most of the time, it's not a 10x, it's a 50x, right? I mean, my price, I'm not going to go in and charge somebody $250,000 to overhaul something in 2 days. For me, it's about $50,000, $100,000 if it's a very complex problem. That's what I would charge for a full day, what I call a strategy session. And so that's how you want to think about pricing. So a couple things. One, let's just summarize everything we talked about. You're probably charging too little because you're being too vague. Two, charge for money. You're actually selling money. That's what you're selling. You're not selling coaching. You're not selling consulting. You're selling money. Sell that money in a fixed process with a fixed timeline that has an economic return and a name, and put a price tag on it. If you do those things, basically that is how you create coaching products. Also, I would actually recommend having 3 main coaching products that you sell more than 50% of the time, and then 10 or 12 more that you sell the other 50%. Figure out what people are going to you for and start putting it together as a product. Remember that people don't think of you as a Swiss Army knife, right? Nobody goes into their tool chest of consultants and friends and counselors to find a Swiss Army knife who can fix everything. If they have one problem, sales, team morale, onboarding, hiring, firing, if they have one problem, they're looking for the tool that solves only that problem. So if you position yourself as a Swiss Army knife, they're not going to look for you. You need to be the person who handles sales. I get you more revenue. Or team morale and productivity. I am your team morale person. Personal productivity and vision, life plan, work-life balance. I'm your guy on that. Now, you can be all 3 of those, but you're only going to be known really for one. And so you want to have one of those be the lead. And people come to you for that, and then they can discover the more that you offer later. All right, if you're still wondering, how much do I charge for coaching products? What is the going rate for me? I've got a great PDF for you. It's called the Coach's Pricing Guide. And so it's going to help you walk through how to price your products. But we also have some prices that we charge. Our hundreds and hundreds of coaches charge these prices for these products. It's going to give you a really great idea on what you should be charging. Go to coachbuilder.com/YouTube, coachbuilder.com/YouTube, and you can get that Coach's Pricing Guide. You're charging too little. You're worth more than that. You're just not explaining your offer well. Explain your offer well, put together some great coaching products. Let's see you double your revenue as a coach with the same amount of work. Just charge more because you're worth it.